Hi friends, I am bkgalothra. In today's lesson, we are going to see about tribals. The tribals have been integral part of India. Society. Society is a web of relationships. Members belonging to different castes, class, creed, race interact with one another to form a society. Human beings have basic needs which they can fulfill only in the company of others. Depending upon the quality of interaction, the members become a part of various societies. One such society is a tribal society. The term tribe is used in many different contexts to refer a category of human social group. The predominant usage of the term is in the discipline of anthropology. Tribal societies. Tribal societies are small in size. Almost all tribal societies have well-defined grouping based on common occupation and territory. Tribal language are unwritten. The tribal societies have specific customs and traditions which give unity to the tribal society. Members of a tribal society prefer to live in isolation. Tribal believes in animism, they believe in rebirth and immortality of the soul. According to Zasa, 2003, there's a no one way of defining tribe. If tribes are defined broadly, then they will also include peasantry, but if they are defined in a narrow sense, then many groups conventionally as tribes will not be treated as tribes. The other scholars had defined tribes as. According to Esther Dubé, 1977, tribe is an aggregate of people sharing social values, common dialect, territory, and culture. But in a restricted sense, tribe means of group of people using under chief and maintaining distinct culture traits. Satchidanandana 1932 refers to a tribal society as a system of small producers with small technology and equipment, often relying primarily for their subsistence on what they themselves produce. Characteristics: living away from civilized world in an inaccessible forests and hills, belonging to any one of three races: negroids, australoids, and mangaloids, speaking their own dialect, professing a primitive religious animism, following primitive occupations such as hunting and gathering of forest produce, they being largely carnivorous. The characteristics of tribals enumerated thus are exclusiveness, geographical isolation, and self contained economic structure. According to the Constitution of India, there are 645 distinct tribes in India. Their main source of livelihood was agriculture. However, hunter gatherers or herders were also there. Some tribes were nomadic and kept on moving from one place to another. Many large tribes lived in forests, hills, deserts, and places difficult to reach. Each tribe has its chief, elected either on a basis of physical strength, experience, or age, etc. The chief enjoy absolute authority. We can understand tribal society in a better perspective if we look at its various characteristics. First is territory. They do not like the interface of outside world into their region. Second is common dialect. Tribal languages are unwritten. It is passed orally from one generation to the next. Absence of writing. Tribals have not developed any system of phonetic alphabets. Variety of definition of simple term tribe presents a different aspects of tribal life. We can understand tribal society in a better perspective if we look at various characteristics territory. Tribal societies are small in size and they have their specific territory. They do not like the interface of the outside world into their region as they have limited interaction with the outside world. Their worldview is also narrow. Common dialect. Tribal languages are unwritten and hence the extent of communication both in time and space is inevitably narrow. A common dialect helps the members to develop feeling among themselves and a language is not written. It is passed on orally from one generation to the next. Absence writing. The tribals have not developed any system of phonetic alphabet. They also have simplistic method of counting in units 2 or 4 and for the most practical purposes their counting skill is restricted to counting up to 10 or 15. Most of tradition is passed down in terms of oral literature or symbolic objects like the kula ornaments. The scheduled tribes. The whole of tribal society in India is at present moment going through a critical stage of transition. In Indian context, the term tribe has undergone further changes, particularly in the post-independence period. Under the Constitution of India, certain tribes have been specified as scheduled tribes. Under the Constitution of India, certain tribes have specified as scheduled tribes. Only those tribes which have been included in the list given special treatment. Certain tribes, for instance, nomadic tribes are not specified as the scheduled tribes. The constitution neither defines nor lays down any criteria for specifying the scheduled tribes. As per Article 366(25) of the Constitution, the scheduled tribes means such tribes or tribal communities or parts or groups within such tribes or tribal communities are deemed under Article 342 to be the scheduled tribes for the purposes of the Constitution. The scheduled tribes may be specified by the President under Article 342 by a public notification. The Parliament may by law exclude from the list of the scheduled tribes any tribal community or part thereof in any state or union territory. The main criteria adopted for specifying community as a scheduled tribes include traditional occupation of a definite geographical area. First is distinctive culture, which includes whole spectrum of tribal way of life, that is language, customs, traditions, religious beliefs, arts, crafts, etc. Second is primitive traits depicting occupational pattern, economy, etc. Lack of educational and techno-economic development. Conclusion. The tribals have been and are integral part of India. They have to be trusted. There is a need to be for a closer understanding of their ethos. The tribals are simple and honest people. The culture foundation of tribal society must be safeguarded. They may be poor, but they are persons of dignity and self respect. There is a need for a change in approach and attitude towards tribals. Thank you. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.